Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and tá fáilte rómh go léir an seo, go dtí baile Castletown Geoghegan. You're all very welcome here to St. Michael's Church in Castletown Geoghegan, and this is a very special night for us in Castletown Geoghegan Cultus as we celebrate our 40th anniversary. So we're really looking forward to the weekend. We're delighted that you're all here joining us. And I know there are people joining us online as well through the wonders of technology, and they're all very welcome as well. I know we have some people even tuning in from as far away as Canada and America, so you're all very welcome here. As you can see, there's a big group of us here on stage from Castletown Geoghegan Cultus, and these are groups of musicians that have been learning their music with us, and now they're all getting older and even sounding better every year. So we're delighted to be here, and I hope you enjoy the concert very much. We've loads of special guests in the second half. Right, we'll continue on with the music. That's enough chat. We started off there, by the way, with a couple of reels, The Wise Maid and The Rookery, composed by the great Vincent Broderick. So our next set of tunes are a set of jigs. To start off with The Cat's Meow, and we'll follow that with The Humours of Ennistimon. So hope you enjoy these. Right, thank you very much. Hope you're enjoying the music so far anyway. Good to know, good to know. Right, so we're going to break up the music a little bit this time, and like this whole weekend, I suppose, we're looking back at the branch in the 40 years that have gone past, and all the people that have went through the branch, and especially the people that started off the branch. Because without those people way back in 1985, we wouldn't have a branch. So we're very thankful to all those people who founded the branch and the founding officers from 1985. And thankfully we have a number of them here tonight. This is one man here, Dick Stokes beside me, who was one of the first to start off the branch. Davy Joe Fallon is down there, he's going to play a tune in us, and a few others as well. And one of the founding members from 1985 was the late John Cowley. So I'm going to call on John's grandson, Shane Herity, to sing a song. So would you give a round of applause to Shane Herity?
Between Milltown and Sweet and Styman's the place where my forefathers lived, and it's there I was raised. Called Errand Bog beside Errolmore, that's a mighty bog not far from the shore. To the north of Mount Callan, which gives it a shade in the cold winds of winter on warm summer days. If you ever come by there, you'll be right amazed, between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. On the road back from Ina, on the way to Milltown, where the 5 crosses meet, one going up and 2 down. Take the forest to your right, on the back road you're bound, between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. How I'd love to be with you to shorten the road, and to tell you the stories that I once was told. And perhaps if you're lucky, you might find the gold between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. Little roads that hold secrets as they tread their way through that blanket of bog where green fields are straying. Just a few man-made notions added to the display between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. 'Tis a wilderness beauty that lures strangers' eyes, and the old ways of farming in tune with the wild. How I wish I was back playing there as a child, between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. There are no burned stones there, but wild flowers abound, and the stream disappears that flows under the ground. There's a monument to those that have laid their lives down, between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. And the numerous greens to be seen as you go, heather, furze, blossom, Carnarvon, white as snow. Famine furrows and ridges where spuds once did grow, between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. And the chorus of morning, the dawning inspires, where the wild things are sporting in meadow and mire. To be there once more, sure it is my desire, between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. On story-filled evenings with songs in the air, heels and toes tapping the music of Clare, I ask myself now why I didn't stay there, between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. Ah, my sweetheart of youth, from a few miles away, had to leave with her parents for the far USA. Now their home long deserted has gone to decay, between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. Though our paths never crossed in that far foreign land, I think of her still, by her old home I stand. If she had not gone, she would wear my gold band, between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. And now the end of the last harvest day, where the meal has gone from the haggard and rain. Though the flower of youth's faded, there's still an array, between Milltown and Sweet and Stymon. On Mulla's Hill and an old Kilford boy, sure it's there that the bones of my forefathers lie. But forever I'll sleep and bid one last goodbye to old Milltown and Sweet and Stymon.
Right, thank you very much, Shane. That was beautiful there. And you might have noticed the way we had that tied in because Shane was mentioning Ennis Diamond and we played the humours of Ennis Diamond before. So there you go. We had that rehearsed, you see. Anyway, thanks very much, Shane. So, we're going to continue on now with, what are we doing this time? Yeah, we're going to go for some slides. So, 2 slides. The first one is one of my own tunes and I call it The Smell of Freshly Cut Grass. And the second one then is a fairly well-known slide called the Brusna slide. So we'll give these slides a go for something a little bit different anyway. So the smell of freshly cut grass and the Brusna. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks very much. So those were a few slides. Now we'll change it around a little bit. We're very lucky to have these beautiful instruments called the harp, and we have some lovely harp players. So we have Ross and Rachel and Mary Claire Maxwell, 2 sisters and a cousin, and they're going to do a selection on the harp. They're going to play on a Carolan piece, isn't that right? Followed by a reel. So give them a round of applause. Mary Claire, Rachel and Ross on the harps. beautiful harp music there all together. Lovely, lovely stuff. I mentioned there we have some of our founding officers from 1985 here with us. Dick here, Stokes and Davy Joe Fallon. I also see Christy and Maura Dalton and Johnny Corrigan. So I think we should give them a big round of applause for joining us tonight. And early on there, we had Shane Herty singing a song. And Shane is a grandchild of the late John Cowley. And coming up next, we have a great grandchild of John Cowley. And also this young lady has Irish heritage on both sides, because she's also a great grandchild of the late Billy Whelan as well. So I'd like to welcome up Amy Whelan. Amy is going to tell us a bit of a story. So give her a big round of applause for Amy. And I think Amy is going to tell us a story. Just correct me, Amy, is it I want to play for the county, is that right? Yeah, brilliant stuff. So away you go, Amy.
I want to play for the county. I've been playing Gaelic football since I was able to walk, and roaring and shouting, "Come on, Westmeath!" from the moment I could talk. I never needed a story or a lullaby at night. Just turn on the telly. The Sunday game would keep me quiet. My mammy used to bring me training with my brothers when I was only 2. Well, I broke into the club nursery and I showed them what I could to do. A shimmy to the left and a side step here or there. I took on a lad, 4 or 5, and I left him on his ear. I remember my 4th birthday. It was my first game under 7s, the debut of my dreams. I made my mark from play and scored 2-11. Word got out about me. They try and mark me out of every game. Reporters were coming out from the paper, but I don't really care. I just want to be myself, and sure to me, I'm beyond compare. With my club, I went through the ranks. I was getting better with age. I dreamed of the day I'd be ready to run out onto Croke Park stage. I lived and breathed the Gaelic football, practicing any chance I got, spending my days at the local pitch, whether homework was done or not. I would manny coming amongst us from 1st right up to 6th. Now, I'm moving on to secondary school, and to be honest, my emotions are mixed. They're all just stuck to their phones. Me, I have no interest at all. Snapchat, TikTok, Insta? No, thank you. I just want to play ball. The road to go back is a lot, but I'll get there with all my might, and I'll be bursting with pride, running out into Croke Park, wearing the maroon and white. We'll cover every blade of grass, tummy and field ball in the air. We'll win the All-Ireland and bring the cup back to Joe Dolan on the Market Square. I won't let myself get distracted, for I have my eye on the bouncy. They're all asking me, what do you want to be when you're older? Well, I just want to play for my county.
Now, great stuff there from Amy. That was brilliant altogether. She's a great future ahead of her. And obviously with both sides of the family, as the old saying goes, she didn't lick it off the ground. So well done, Amy. That was brilliant altogether. Now, next up, I'm going to call up here the chairperson from the branch in 1985. I think you all know Davy Joe Fallon. So Davy Joe is going to join us here for a tune. Come on up, Davy. So while Davy is getting himself sit down here and relaxed, we're going to play one of Davy Joe's own tunes. Davy Joe in the last few years has started composing some lovely tunes, and this is one of his tunes, and he called it the Still House. Isn't that right, Davy Joe? The Still House. I'll just tell you a little story. Like what I remember about Davy Joe learning music, and I always say this to students when I'm teaching them. I remember years ago in Castletown, we're talking of the early 90s, and every night that we learnt music down with Ellen Comerford and Ailish Egan, Davy Joe used to copy the tapes for us, and we always went home with a recording of the tune. And I even mention it to this day when I'm teaching my own students. So this man is an absolute legend, and we're very thankful for all he done for Coltis in the early days. So well done, Davy Joe. Right, so myself and Davy Joe are going to start off with the tune Once Around, and then the rest of the group are going to join us. All right? Now, thanks very much, Davy Joe. It's a lovely tune it is. So, hope he keeps composing more tunes now, and we'll keep playing them as well. So, well done, Davy Joe. Now, what are we going on to next? Yeah, we're going to slow things down a little bit this time. We're going to play a nice slow piece called Evely Gyal Cún Ní Carwal. So, to start it off, I think all of our fiddles are going to start off. Our fiddles are all scattered around here. Yeah, so the fiddles are going to start off, and then we'll all gradually kind of join in then in the second half. So we'll give this nice piece a go. thank you very much. So next up we're going to have a trio this time from the Reynolds family from Ballynagore. So we have John and Thomas and Anne there on the piano. So they're going to play a couple of reels. All right. First one is Miss Monaghan. Second one. Miss Monaghan, we'll call the second one Gone Anam anyway. So give a big round of applause to the Reynolds family. Right, thanks very much there to John and Thomas and Anne. It was lovely music all together. Now, the next up, and this is a bit of a surprise. So Dick Stokes here, I think you all know Dick Stokes. Dick is also obviously one of our founding officers from 1985, and he's a multi-talented man. You know, he plays the accordion and he tells stories, he sings songs. There's nothing he can't do. And I got a phone call last night from Dick, because I said to Dick at the start of the week, Dick, you might maybe do a bit of a song or, at our concert on Friday night. So Dick rings me last night, he says, Enda, I'm after writing a new song just for the occasion, as you do. So he's a multi-talented man, and he's come up with a song especially for the occasion. Isn't that right, Dick?
That's right.
And I think he's just going to call it Castletown 1985. So ladies and gentlemen, Dick Stokes.
Now, in a total departure from tradition, I have to read this song because I put the finishing touches on it after the tea this evening, so I don't really know it off by heart. But just another little word of explanation. There are names mentioned in it. I could have mentioned a lot more, but I'd be moving out to 25 or 30 verses if I mentioned all the names that might have been mentioned. But anyway, this is it. It's about the founding of the branch in 1985. If you'll be able to see it here now. Ah, yeah, we are. 1985 was a very bad year. The statues were moving and the skies they were drear. We were all in the dumps, there was little to cheer, till we heard of the new branch of Coltes. Davy Joe was the leader that came to the fore, Mara Dalton, Sean Cowley, and 5 or 6 more. The committee was formed, and the membership soared, and the Castletown branch it was rolling. We had classes and sessions and things going grand. We ran county flags, had our own Kelly band. We were seen on the gig rigs all over the land, and some even reached Buenos Aires. To fly Hearn, our members on tour. But who can forget about Clonmel 94? With Patsy gone missing and our driver quite sore. But thank God for a happy conclusion. Now some of our staunchest to heaven have gone. Billy Whalen and Cowley from our ranks have moved on. Patsy Ennis, Pat Carey, their reward they have won. Tony Kenny and likewise Patsy Keenan. John Joe Sheeran, Mike Kirby and Margaret his wife, and Ned Masterson freed from all trouble and strife. A fine part they played while here in this life. In our thoughts and our prayers, let us keep them. Well, we're 4 decades up, and the crack still goes on. There are flags, there are sessions, and music and song. Many friendships were formed, some romances begun, and all Ireland's won into the bargain. So here's to the great group who started it all, and likewise those later who answered the call. We're still in good hands, there's no fear we might fall. Agus fág a míad siúd mar atá sé sin é.
Wasn't that mighty altogether, ladies and gentlemen? So that shows you the talent of this man, that he can come up with that just like that. So thank you very much, Dick. That's a beautiful piece altogether. And I know he has plenty of other newly composed songs as well. I know he's
Eurovision next year.
Eurovision next year. Now, there you go. Well, he might do better than the rest of them, Dick, isn't that right? So fair play, Dick. Brilliant stuff altogether. Right, we'll continue on with a bit of music. We're going to do a selection of slip jigs this time. Redican's Mother and the Drops of Brandy. So give these 2 slip jigs a go. Okay, you ready? 1, 2. Right, there we go. We're nearly coming to our last selection of the first half. So again, I hope you're all enjoying it, ladies and gentlemen. We're enjoying ourselves up here anyway, and it's lovely to play for such an appreciative audience, and it's great to see so many friends and followers of Castletown Geoghegan Cult, because I think the one thing with Cult as an organisation is that you make friends. When you make friends, you make them for life. And we've definitely made many friends in Castletown Geoghegan Cult over through the years. So we're delighted to be here tonight, and we're going to do one more selection for you. But make sure and stick around, because we have a number of very special guests for the second half. Our interval won't be too long, about 10-15 minutes, just to get our breath back, and then we'll continue on the second half with our special guests. And at the start of the second half, we're going to have our raffle prizes, so get those tickets ready during the interval as well, and we have some nice prizes going as well. Okay, so we're going to finish off our set here from Castletown Geoghegan Cultus. We're going to play a couple of reels, well-known reels, The Maid Behind the Bar and The Sally Gardens. And I think we're going to get that little board up as well. Yeah. I think Davy Joe is going to join us here for the last selection as well. Oh, wherever you want, Davy, come join us. Don't be shy. And for our last selection of tunes, I'm going to call up another legend of the branch. That's Christy Dalton. Would you welcome Christy Dalton up here? Come on, Christy. These are two of Christy's favourite tunes, and he always loves Davy Joe playing along with us as well. And if you don't mind, Christy, Christy Dalton is 93 at the moment. Am I right, Christy? And he's coming 94, so... Right, so will we start off and you want to join us then, Christy? Brilliant. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for your appreciation during the first half. So, Maid Behind the Bar and The Sally Gardens.
Whilst we're waiting for the tickets to come up, you're all very welcome here to St. Michael's Church here in Castletown Geoghegan as we continue our very special Ceol Corrimanocht for our 40th anniversary of Castletown Geoghegan CCE. We had our own group here performing there for the last hour or that, which was a fantastic display of our music, song and indeed dance here in Castletown Geoghegan. And it really is a great reflection of how our cultural traditions have been proudly passed on to the next generation, fulfilling the vision set by the founding officers of our branch 40 years ago in 1985. Now, looking ahead to the second half of this evening's concert, we're in for a great treat. First up, we welcome the Under-12 Westmeath County Champions, the Tristana Katie Band from Ballinacurgy CCE, who are here beside me. Following them, we'll enjoy a series of lively sets by our friends from branches across the county who've come together this evening to perform as the Westmeath CCE group. And to bring the evening to a rousing close, we're delighted to have the 2024 Leinster Senior Katie Band champions, the Ardescar Katie Band from County Offaly. Táma ag strúbeo ar YouTube anocht, agus bhfuil an fáilte choróh gachtain in air agus ar fud an dawan atá ag fécint ar an Geol Caramir Lína. We have people joining us online here this evening, which is being streamed online on YouTube, and we'd like to welcome everyone from around Ireland and indeed around the world who are joining us virtually this evening. Now we're ready to continue with our second half, and we have a very young group here from Ballinacurgy CCE, the Tristana Katie Band, who are the county champions for this year at Flatheol na Hirvi in Moat. And under the mentorship of Joe Kinnair, the band brings a true Ballinacurgy style with their performance this evening of the Wandering Minstrel Jig and the Holly Bush Reel. So I'd like to get you to put your hands together and give a big boolabos to the Tristana Katie Band. big well done there to the Tristana Katie Band from Balnacargy CCE. And we'd like to wish the band all the very best of luck at the Leinster Fleadh in Drogheda in 2 weeks' time. There was a brilliant Katie Band competition in Moat this year at Fleadh na Hirby, and we'd also like to extend our best wishes to Bonachole and Mota and the Fairies Katie Band, who I believe some of them are joining us here this evening, as well as the Harbour Katie Band from Balnacargy CCE, as well as the Doonashee Katie Band from Moat in the 12 to 15 competition. And of course then the Temple Oran Katie Band in the senior competition, also representing Balnacargy, Gnairi and Táliv Glare. We're going to be joined now, I think, by some of our friends from the branches across the county, and it takes a few minutes just to get them set up, so if you don't mind just bearing with us on that. But we have members from Moat, Bannymore, Mullingar, Balnacargy, and I think a few others will be joining us as well, so if you give them a big bullabus, and they'll be up on stage here now in a few moments' time. Well, as was said earlier in the first half, the story of our branch began with a series of massive sessions that launched the Castletown Geoghegan branch of Coltas in 1985. Within just 2 years, membership had grown to around 160, making it the largest branch in the county at the time. That same autumn, music classes were launched under the expert guidance of Helen Comerford, which attracted over 90 students in the very first year. Now, 40 years on, the vision and dedication of the founding committee, along with the countless individuals who contributed their time, talent and passion over the decades, has ensured that traditional music continues to thrive in Castletown Geoghegan and its surrounding areas. And that is what this weekend is all about, is a big celebration of all those years of music and what is brought to the fruition here today of our fantastic standard of music, song and dance here in Castletown Geoghegan. And whilst the group are setting up here, I'll give you a bit more history about our branch whilst we're waiting. The branch played host to the first Westmeath County Fleadh in 1987, and it was so good that we had it back here in 1988 and again in 1989. These are regarded as some of the best ever county Fleadhs here in Castletown Geoghegan. Set dancing classes were then held by the late Frank Bracken of Moat and the late Stephen Conroy of Comross, and were later taught by Seamus Berry and Nicky and Maura Finn from Geoghegan. Helen Comerford was succeeded as music tutor by Eilish Egan from Croghan in County Offaly. After a lull of a couple of years, the Castletown Geoghegan branch was revitalised in the late 90s under a new committee led by chairperson Seamus Seary. The Seary musical family of Kieran, Siobhan, Padraig and Enda also started teaching weekly music lessons on various instruments such as whistle, flute, fiddle, banjo and button accordion. And today we offer classes in fiddle, banjo and whistle and flute, which is still taught by Enda, as well as our latest teachers of Rachel Maxwell and of Jack Mulligan on banjo. The branch has had numerous successes at the All-Ireland Fleadh Ceoil, including Colony, who's won 2 senior button accordion titles and 1 under-18 title, his sister Catherine, who's won 2 under-18 titles and a senior ladies singing title, as well as Colin Hogg, who has 2 successive under-18 Bowron titles, with many more members of the branch winning medals in music, singing and dancing competitions, with our latest All-Ireland medal coming in Thomas Reynolds, who placed 3rd in the All-Ireland last year in the under-12 banjo. I think we're nearly ready to go here, so whilst the guys are tuning up, I'd like to give a big welcome once again to our friends from Westmeath, Coltas, Ceoltóirí, Éireann. Bulabos mór dúil.
Gormín Bahagif Golair, delighted to be here this evening, and thank you for coming along and to listen to us. I know there's a few other people that you might hear as well, but you really came to listen to us, we know. So we're from all the branches in Westmeath, Coltis, and we're just going to play a few tunes for the next 15 or 20 minutes or so. We started with 3 jigs: Banish Misfortune, Munster Bacon, and The Mouse in the Kitchen. And we're going to continue with 3 reels. And these are the very well-known Tarbolton set of reels, starting with the Tarbolton reel and continuing with the Longford Collector and the Sailor's Bonnet. So here goes. Thank you very much. 2 jigs this time. The famous Cat's Meow, which was written by Johnny Madden, I believe, and into another jig called Pay the Reckoning, an old favourite. So here goes. going to introduce a Sean-Us dancer called Charlene Doyle, of whom you may have heard. So I got nominated to play a couple of tunes for Charlene, so here goes. Thank you very much, Charlene. Well done. Just before we finish, with the last set of reels, I just want to say a few words of thanks here to Enda for inviting us to play at this very, very entertaining event. We're honoured to be on the stage here with such illustrious company as the Ardeshker Céilí Band, which you're about to see, and we're very much looking forward to hearing them. But the Castletown Geoghegan Session group were amazing earlier in the first half. Please give them a big round of applause. And what about the Balnacarriga Céilí Band under 12? Weren't they amazing? So we leave you with this set of reels, starting with the Congress reel, continuing with the Duke of Leinster, and finishing with the Killavel reel. So we hope you enjoy the rest of the night. We're certainly looking forward to it. So God bless you all. Good night.
And a big well done there to our friends from the Westmeath branches across the county. Thank you very much. Weren't they fantastic, ladies and gentlemen? Now we'll be moving on to our final act of the evening now, the Ardescar Katie Band from County Offaly in just a moment. But a bit more history for you whilst we're waiting. A few famous names that have come out of the Castletown Geoghegan branch down through the years include Davy Fallon Sr., who was a founding member with the Chieftains as Bowron player. Of course, our very own Davy Joe Fallon, who is the leader of the well-known Davy Joe and Carousel Katie Band. Billy Whelan, the great musician known as the Whistling Postman, as well as John Joe Gannon, a member of the famous Moat Katie Band. And you can learn plenty about John Joe Gannon and the great sessions that were had out in Streamstown in the latest edition of Trower, in which Dick Stokes wrote a great piece about the music back then. As well as Sean Cowley was a noted storyteller on numerous Coltis tours and was renowned for his great storytelling here in Castletown Geoghegan, as well as Pat Carey, who kept on the tradition of house sessions in his thatched cottage many years ago also. As mentioned earlier in the show and just there as well, Billy Whelan is notably the best known of all Castletown musicians. He was a native of Moat, but he arrived to the village in 1932 to take up duty as a postman. He was a multi-instrumentalist, being proficient on the banjo, mandolin, piano and accordion, saxophone, pipes, organ, fiddle, piano, mouth organ and whistle, only to mention but a few. In addition, he was a singer and songwriter, and his most famous composition is The Westmeath Bachelor, a song which is still being performed by a wide range of artists, including Foster and Allen. A very well-known song there, and originated from Billy Whelan himself from Castletown Geoghegan. We're now going to welcome the Ardescar Katie Band onto the stage. The Ardescar Katie Band hail from the faithful county of Offaly. The Ardescar name originates from the high hills of the Escarida, which surrounds the beautiful valley in the village of Killy, just outside Tullamore. The band has become a familiar and formidable presence in the All-Ireland Senior Katie Band competition in recent years, having qualified on numerous occasions. Last year, it was the gold medals that came their way as the band was crowned Leinster Senior Katie Band champions in Wicklow. The band members are not only multi-instrumentalists, singers and dancers, but they are All-Ireland champions in various other categories too. Among the members is band leader James Hogan, who played an important role in our local branch here for several years. As a very accomplished button accordion tutor, James mentored many young musicians who've gone on to become outstanding box players in their own right. James unfortunately cannot be with us here this evening, but we wish to extend our thanks to him, and it is fitting that the Ardescar are here as our special guests this evening for our 40th anniversary. Before they begin, I'd just like to mention that our weekend of celebrations will continue throughout the weekend. We said one night isn't enough to celebrate 40 years, so we're going to do 2 more days of it. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock in Ned Claffey's just across the way, we'll have a singing session led by Dick Stokes. Then on Sunday, we'll be back here in the church for 11:30 Mass, as we remember the deceased members of our branch and celebrate our music. Then at 3 p.m, we'll be over in the hall, in St. Michael's Hall, as we make a presentation to our Founding Officers Committee, who founded our branch in 1985. So there'll be music, refreshments and presentations to our founding officers at that. And then to top it all off, we'll be bidding farewell to the weekend at 5 o'clock back in Ned Claffey's for a session. And we hope to have it outside. I think the latest forecast I checked is going to be good, so we're hoping to have a lovely outdoor session at 5 o'clock in Ned Claffey's to finish off on Sunday. Now to our special guests, which are the Ardescar Katie Band. They're just setting up here beside me. On flutes, we have Brian Deegan and Owen Carton. On fiddles, we have Ciara McKeough and Danielle Lonergan. On concertina, we have Amy Murphy. On box, we have Claire Ann Kearns. On piano, we have Adrian Brady, and on drums, we have Ciara Brennan. So, Corrigi Falchimore, and a big boot of us to our special guests, the Ardescar Katie Band Os Quinte Vivaldi.
Lovely. Oh, Jesus. I sound like God coming in through the... Díomh a chairde agus bhorgéid fáilte anseo a nacht. I dosach an sin just bhualing ar míle buchas a gawa leis an go gríomh áitiúil anseo as an gcuire all anseo horse doing. Thanks a million to Castletown Geoghegan Coltis for inviting us here to celebrate this wonderful occasion tonight, and we congratulate them on 4 decades of magic here in the centre of Westmeath, and all the wonderful musicians and all the kids and all ages here tonight. It's fantastic to see. As we were introduced, we are from just across the border in the faithful County Offaly. We've ventured into Westmeath tonight, and we've been made very welcome, except for the wallop that Seamus gave me there a second ago with the mic. But that's okay, Seamus, I won't hold it against you. We'll entertain you, all going well, for the next 20-25 minutes. If you want to dance, please do. Take Charlene's lead, maybe somewhere down the centre. We'll start off with 3 jigs, one of which you may have heard tonight. We were out the back looking at our list, and a few tunes you might hear again that you heard already earlier. We were going to cancel them and said, why would we do that? So we're going to start off a Hordza with 3 jigs. The first one is Apples in Winter, the second one is The Wandering Minstrel, and the last one is The Maid on the Green. Gurmagui. Cian. Fair play. Okay, it's lovely and warm in here, isn't it? It's warm outside tonight as well. I haven't been in a dicky bow in a long time, so I'm not sure how it's going, but it's very warm. Okay, we'll continue on with a pair of reels. The first one, the Bag of Spuds, which you may have heard tonight already. We put in a few different notes though this time, just in case. And we'll follow it then by the Sailor on the Rock. Thanks very much. Are you having a good night so far? Yeah, good for you. It's a great night out in Castletown, Geoghegan. Okay, every three, and so we're going to slow it down maybe a little bit now with a hornpipe. Hornpipe we've been playing for the last couple of years, and we like it a lot. So, and we're good at it too, I think, at this stage. We've played it so long. So this hornpipe is called McGivney's hornpipe. We're getting there, bit by bit. So our next two pieces for you, two jigs that we played last year in all the flags that we played last year. And these two jigs we learned specifically for the competitions last year, just as something a bit different. The first one is called Patio Leary's. Lovely old jig that actually, I don't think any of us actually heard until last year. and we decided we'd learn it. It's a great band tune. And the second tune is called A Jig for Seamus. Not Seamus Cunningham, although maybe for Seamus tonight, for all his hard work down there. A Jig for Seamus. Seamus, what's his name? Yeah. Written by a very talented musician from Rockchapel in County Cork called Emer Flannery. And she wrote it for her friend Seamus McMahon, perhaps. I think it was. Let's say it was anyway, we won't say it. So, Emer Flannery, very, very talented. Her and her sister play an awful lot of music, and this is A Jig for Seamus. So, Patty O'Leary's and A Jig for Seamus. Lovely. And that was written for a man called Seamus Connolly. Seamus Connolly, just for the record. Okay, I'm going to chance my hand at an old song now, Change Your Pace. And this song is a very common, very old song called Magillamar. So if you know it, please do sing along. Written in, I suppose, response to the failed Jacobite rebellion of 1745. So Castletown Geoghegan has a little bit longer to go, and I think it's nearly 280 years. But so 1745, and it's all about the gallant Bonnie Prince Charlie, and how we tried to, I suppose, move the British away maybe from his area and reclaim the crown as a Catholic king, and all very political. So as a result then the Irish cause then of freedom and rebellion and so on kind of took it on. So the song has gone through many different changes over the last 280 years. There's many different parts to it, many different people. There's many, it's written as poems in the Legal Third Irish course. It's been used and used over and over again as it should be. So this is the Ardescar version of Magillamar. So if there's an odd word here or there, just smile and nod and agree and sing along if you know it, please. Thanks a million. Shemaleach Magillamar Geoghegan, O Gilmar, shall Doros in a whiten have, Achnish in a vine trakat re, Mohelectron adongo train, go warna rock is inimigen, Shemoleok, Mogilamar, Shemohezer, Gilamar, Swen ni wordesen, O Huaygen, Mogilmar, Bien Shabuan, boards glo, qui go crois sector menor, mar squilwen an bukelvio, sni rifter turish waim of Rome, Shemoleach, Mogilamar, Shemohezer, Gilamar, Swen Nashemi Bordesin, O Huaygen Mogilamar. Ni lauren quo surger non, is nil go gairi gael no, na maiten haura England of kyo, o she when nan bukabyo, she Mogilamar, Shemohezer Gilamar, Swen Nashemi Boresin, O Huaygen, O Gilamar, Shemoleach, Mogilamar, Shemohezer Gilamar, Swen Nashemi Boresin, O Huaygen, Mogilamar. Come on, Dave. Come on. Okay, how are we all doing? Off stage and on stage. Okay, so we are going to continue with a march that I threw the few notes together for his last year. We were looking for a new march, and I said, sure, I'll throw my hands at this march and see what it's like. So it's called Ivory Buttons, and our very dear sister, mother, friend, Lelia, my sister, passed away 2 years ago, and she was the concertina player in our band for many, many years, and a founding member of the Ardexter Cayley band as well. And she played her very first concertina that she got had ivory buttons. So this is Ivory Buttons in memory of Lelia and in memory of our time on the stage last year when it was equally as hot, I think. So this is Ivory Buttons. You can't have a Cayley band on stage without playing a march, I suppose, and a good chop at the end. Fair play, mighty. Okay, so our next set is a set of jigs. Did we hear any of these tonight? I don't think we did. I think we're okay with these ones, are we? So these 3 jigs, the first one is Gallagher's Frolics, the second one is The Rose and the Heather, and the last one is Munster Buttermilk. So always look over at Kieran here, and he's the far side of an altar. I've never seen anything like that before. It's great. Okay, so we're down to our last set of the night. Did I hear everyone saying, oh, I'm not sure, or they said, yeah, I wish they said. So just, I suppose, we are 8 on the stage tonight, but normally we are actually, we have a 12 pool that we kind of draw from. So we'd just like to acknowledge James Hogan, was mentioned earlier. James is normally on box. Claire Ann is actually normally on the fiddle at the front. So thanks to Claire Ann for stepping in tonight. We are also missing tonight Eileen Brennan, who plays the concertina as well, and Marie Fitzgerald, who comes and goes as the fiddle player as well, and Maria Hartnett, who's our banjo player. So we also don't forget them here tonight because we're up in the limelight. We can't forget the others as well. So, Reached Gramil Mil Mahagi, especially to Castletown Geoghegan Colts for inviting us here tonight and for putting on such a great show, and we congratulate them on their 40 years of huge success and wish them 40 and more after that. So I think Enda is there somewhere. He might want to say a few words just before we finish up.
Thanks very much, Adrian. I won't keep you too long. You've been a very, very good audience for the whole night, so thank you very much. Just a couple of words of thanks to say before we finish up. First of all, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to Father Barry Condren for giving us the use of this beautiful venue here tonight. So thank you very much, Father Barry. Also, I'd like to say thanks very much to our expert men on sound and recording. So give your hands for Seamus on the sound and Alan on the recording and the streaming. Made the night so much easier for you, so thanks very much, lads. Of course, thanks to all of our musicians. This night wouldn't have been possible with all of the great musicians we had. Our own Castletown Cultus group, and we have our session show running the whole summer as well, so make sure to visit us some Friday night in the hall as well. Thanks to the Westmeath Cultus group, the Tristerne Young Cayley Band from Ballinaccarrigy, and of course our special guest here, the Ardesker Cayley Band. I know James is not here tonight, but I've known James for years, and Adrian as well for a long time, and it's great to have them coming across the border from Offaly. You're not too far away, so thank you very much, guys, for making this a special night. Our second half, we were joined by another expert MC, that's young Shane King, so I think you should give Shane a round of applause as well. And finally, I suppose I'd just like to say a huge thank you to our own committee in Castletown Geoghegan Cultus, because Cultus as an organisation, it's a team effort, and it doesn't happen because of one person, it happens because of a team effort, and it's always been that way in Castletown Geoghegan Cultus. Anytime we have events, we always put the shoulder to the wheel and we put on a good event. So personally, I'd just like to say a huge thanks to the rest of the members of Castletown Geoghegan Cultus who worked very hard on this weekend as well, so thank you very much. So I won't hold you much longer. Just thank you very much again. Gur Mila Mahagwag Villair. The Ardesh are going to finish off, I'm sure, with a rousing selection of tunes. And enjoy the rest of the weekend as well. We've another few things coming up tomorrow night and on Sunday as well. So once again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Lovely, good night, and so we'll finish off with 2 reels. Kieran's in it again, thank you. Kieran likes to play and I like to talk. That's kind of it. So finish off with 2 reels, and again, best wishes for the rest of the weekend, and thanks for your wonderful company and attention. These are 2 reels called Jim Donoghue's and The Honeymoon, which I'm sure incidentally happened after many an event in here, honeymoon out the door and off you go. So Jim Donoghue's and The Honeymoon. Gurmahagui. Okay, Shaski, you go around the V and wash with the leg is the surprise at the end. Finish it off. Up Offaly and Westmeath. Fair play to you lads. Fermach go Ecowa.